in advance for giving me a few minutes of your afternoon. It really is good to be here and to share information with you today. This isn't home, but it's real close. I have family here. In fact, my wife's grandmother's at Collier Park, and both my brother-in-law and sister-in-law live here. So, and as Jim said, for the last 15 years, I've worn out several sets of tires driving back and forth. I mentioned the family relationship for a reason. Because family's important and family's personal. And when families are threatened, and when our way of life is threatened, we do things differently. We listen, we pay attention, and we engage. So I'm going to talk to you today about an effort that goes beyond just business. This is about personal. And it's a personal thing that we need to all face. And I am here for a reason. It's more than just to fill the space between lunch and the workshops. I want to give you something today. And hopefully what I'm giving you is a wake-up call. And I'm giving you information that hopefully will make you stop and think and question and hopefully challenge. And if I do a good job, I'm hoping to motivate you to action. Action intended to protect your quality of life and ensure that the opportunities exist for your children to stay here and prosper for years to come. I'm here to talk about the oil and gas industry and the challenges that, actually it's probably too mild. It's not the challenges, it's the assault, it's the siege that we're under. And this siege is being waged by the same industry that put Beaumont, put Jefferson County, and put Texas on the map. So I know a lot of you. I know some of you are probably thinking, man, it's just another whining industry talking head that's going to stand up here who doesn't want to talk about, doesn't want to be regulated and doesn't want to be taxed, and is going to tell me that the sky is falling. Well, so I'll just ask, please indulge me for a few minutes and listen to my story. And if you think I'm full of bull, then we'll shake hands after and just agree to disagree. You can decide if the sky is falling on your own. As I said, Jim and I are going to take this. I have a couple of slides that we'll click through. Our presentation is actually going to, my responsibility is to go back and please, this is the situation. And then Jim's going to walk through a response that we've been developing. Next, before I get too far in this, I want to just get four, I guess, basic facts about the oil industry. Most of you are pretty familiar with the oil and gas industry, but I think it's important to get just a couple of things down so we're on the same page. Kind of, I guess, a quick profile. Industry is broadly divided into two categories. You've heard the terms before, upstream and downstream. And when we're talking about upstream, that's the sector that search for, recovery, and production of crude oil and natural gas. That's the E&P, exploration and production guys. And when we talk about drilling onshore and offshore wells, we're talking about the upstream side of the business. The downstream side refers to the refining of crude and the sale and distribution of natural gas and petrol. So I'm going to use those terms throughout the presentation, just kind of familiar with it. Beaumont area started really as an upstream economy that quickly transitioned into a downstream economy on a global scale. And the associated infrastructure that has developed after Spindleton, first with the Sabine Waterway, and then the refining and chemical production capacity that was built, and now with this essentially new capacity through the LNG facilities that are located here, we really have positioned the area to be America's energy gateway. So to paraphrase Warren Buffett, Southeast Texas has some skin in the oil game. Next, what actually happens, next slide please, on bottom to a barrel of oil. I don't know how many of you have taken a few seconds to think about that, but it doesn't all just go into gas. In fact, less than half of it goes to gas. 28% or so to diesel fuels and heating oil, and it goes into other products like petrochems and jet fuel and asphalt. Same thing for natural gas. Flip the next one. Natural gas, about a third of it's used for heating and cooling. About a third of it is used for industrial use, like propane or fertilizers or dye. And about another third, roughly, is used to generate electricity. So bottom line for this, I guess, is that oil and gas is used in almost everything we do or see or touch, as not just in Southeast Texas, but as a nation. One final data point here, on the next one, please, is wondering where do oil and gas fit as far as our energy mix is concerned. About 62% or so, so roughly 2/3 of the total U.S. energy production comes from oil and gas. About another 21% is coal, 8 or 9% is nuclear, and about another 8% is renewable. And I want you guys to remember that 8% renewable because I'm going to come back to that. Okay, so next please. And so you see the profile on the left, that's our energy mix, and then it goes into things like looking at the energy profile. We use it for electricity, we use it for transportation, we use it for industrial purposes, and then we actually use it in our homes as well. So a very diverse use of those fossil fuels. Next. So obviously what's happened is oil and gas is an important piece of our daily life. But it makes you wonder if this is so ingrained in our daily life. Why are there so many people so stridently who so stridently dislike the oil and gas industry? And why are some people compelled to work to stifle the development of the oil and gas industry? It really makes me think. But again, trying to make sure that I don't get accused of whining, let me talk a few minutes about this concept of being under siege. What does that mean? Who's shooting at us? Where's the battlefield? And why are the shots being fired anyway? A siege, by definition, is the action of an armed force that surrounds a fortified place and isolates it while continuing to attack. Think about that. That word, or I think particularly appropriate for where we are in the oil and gas industry. The oil and gas industry, though fortified and permeating all aspects of our daily life, is surrounded and constantly under attack on numerous fronts. And if history is our teacher, the siege usually ends with the defeat of the fortification. And it's just a matter of time unless replacement troops arrive or the king is overthrown. So today I'm going to focus on 4 battlefields that we currently face. Moratorium on deepwater drilling, regulatory overreach, conflicting public policies on energy, and disincentives like taxes on U.S. business development. 4 months ago, our world changed. Little did we know then that the Deepwater Horizon rig explosion would aggravate an already increasingly uncertain course for the U.S. oil and gas industry. This tragic accident has resulted in the current federal administration taking severe actions against industry that is crippling domestic oil and gas production in the United States. And few areas stand to lose more or be hit harder by these actions than Southeast Texas. And I'll discuss the moratorium in detail in a few minutes. It's no secret that the administration has been trying to hamstring the domestic oil and gas industry for some time. Since taking office, this president has proposed and taken action on a number of policies, regulations, and legislations, which, if they take effect, would eviscerate the oil and gas industry in Southeast Texas, and America's energy gateway would swing closed. Next slide. It's not just the upstream side of the business that's under attack. The downstream side also is in the crosshairs. The state has seen this firsthand with the rational environmental policies of this administration. After operating its flexible permits program since 1994, the Texas Council on Environmental Quality